Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Talking Fight, where we discuss the Olympics, in particular boxing at the Olympics, which are coming up in, I believe, 8 short days now. Christian's not with me today, but has left me a variety of stories for your listening and viewing pleasure. Let me start off by saying a fellow who I mentioned a few weeks ago out of Venezuela, who's currently living in Trinidad and Tobago, who is awaiting paperwork to allow him back into Trinidad and Tobago after the Olympics as part of the refugee team, is still awaiting that paperwork. His name is Eldrick Sella, if you recall, a middleweight boxer, and he's getting a little bit concerned that time is running out because he's not received an exemption from the Ministry of National Security to leave Trinidad and Tobago and actually return. So the Minister of Sport and Community Development, Shamfat Kujo, told Newsday on Wednesday a meeting was held with the IOC, and he said, "We don't have law that speaks to refugees here or even a refugee camp. This week we met with the IOC on the matter, so they are very much aware of our position. I know they were looking at sending some different documents, but we had a very cordial meeting yesterday." So I hope that works out for young Mr. Sella and his endeavors to get over to Tokyo in time to compete. I'm sure they will solve it. Paperwork, it's all that's required. Anyway, on the flip side of a young athlete awaiting to go over to the Tokyo Olympics and compete in boxing, we have a story out of Kazakhstan today and this is completely, I did not know this was allowed, but here we go. The president of, is he the president? I'm pretty sure he is. Pretty sure he's the he's the head of the Kazakhstan Boxing Federation. He was elected to that position in 2019. His name is Keniz Rakishev. Okay, he's a noted businessman, owns quite a few companies right around the world, mainly gold mining business. But anyway, check this out. In his position, in anticipation of the Olympic Games, he's decided to offer to the winning boxers from Kazakhstan in their respective weight classes, and if they get medals, he's offering cash prizes, not only to the boxers, but to the coaches. As head of the Kazakhstan Boxing Federation, he decided to personally encourage athletes who will be able to distinguish themselves at the upcoming Olympics to the tune of, in boxing alone, winning boxers will receive $100,000 for a gold medal. A silver medalist will get $70,000, and the winner of the bronze will get $50,000. Quite incredible. And he says prize money will also be awarded to the personal mentors of the medalist boxers. The coach who brought up the champion will receive $25,000, the finalist $15,000, bronze medalist $10,000. Incredible. It should be noted, the Minister of Culture and of Sports for the Republic also announced the amounts that the state plans to officially award particularly distinguished athletes: $250,000 for gold, $150,000 for silver, and $75,000 for bronze. So, when we talked yesterday about the difference between professional and amateur athletes, and if you're going to win that kind of money for getting a medal at the Olympics, that kind of separates yourself, if you ask me, from any other amateurs doing it for the love of the sport. Anyway, as Christian had begun yesterday with his exploration of the various divisions and the favorites and the contenders, he's given me his own opinion with respect to several divisions and who are the favorites and who are the live dogs, as he's quoting them. He provided a nice little summary today that I'll be happy to read off to you on his behalf. And if you have any comments, direct them at him. In the light heavyweight division, he says the favorites are Dishudek Ruzmezov from Uzbekistan and Benjamin Whitaker from England. Ruzmetov is the type of guy who can disrupt a tournament bracket with smart pressure, a southpaw stance, good volume, and a pro-ready style. The major issue I see is that the amateur game at this level might not be suited for him anymore, as the volume could be his kryptonite if people can take his punch with the big gloves. Rajmatov could be a very good pro, and I have him circled as someone to watch for. Whitaker looks like to be one of England's stars of the event and should parlay a good event into a lucrative professional career, as he has a chance to get a whole nation behind him at a higher weight class. Whitaker seemingly loves to put himself on the ropes at times, which will be a problem in the pros, but his volume and movement should carry him into medal rounds. Whitaker also has a perfect style to get robbed, or for someone to debate the validity of his win. Christian also reports on a couple live dogs, he says. Bekzad Nurduliov, Kazakhstan, and Arlan Lupez from Cuba. Despite the number 2 ranking and world-level success, I have Nurdulatov as a dog rather than a favorite, as his hop-in, hop-out style with his chin a bit high in the air for me makes him prone to be upset. That being said, his southpaw stance, high-level IQ, and ability to control the action could see him medaling or winning the tournament. With respect to Arlan Lopez, Christian says, Lopez is a solid counterpuncher who is one of the rare Cubans who's willing to fight on the inside. Arlan has the potential to be a special fighter since he can box, but he also has the dog in him to be great. This Olympic Games will show a lot about what Lopez wants from the sport of boxing, as his division is open to whoever wants to take it. Probably true in any sport. In the middleweight division, Christian says the favorites are Gleb Bakshi from Russia and Alexander Krishniknev from Ukraine. Sorry about the pronunciation. I'm not quite as good as Christian is at this. Alexander hasn't lost since 2016 as a great distance fighter. The only downside to Kazhnyak seems to be that his answer to fighting on the inside is holding, which may or may not work. Kazhnyak has all the skills and capabilities to be an Olympic medalist, but will need to be moved carefully as a pro. Gleb Bakashi seems to be the most well-rounded and versatile fighter in the division. Bakashi is not unbeatable and definitely has lost fights he should have won, but he fights similar in each and every fight, with his flaw being sometimes he starts a tad bit slow, which is a professional habit. The live dogs in the middleweight division, says Christian, are Troy Isley from the United States and Ashish Kumar from India. Troy Isley is a smart pressure fighter who is strong and durable, and the day one project of coach Kay Koroma. Isley is now a professional, but will be representing the U.S. at this year's Olympics and has a style to beat a lot of the top guys, as the physical and rough nature he can excel at. Some of the guys at the top of the division don't do as well in. Ashish Kumar will give anyone an honest day's work, as he is unpredictable and hard to time or plan for. Kumar thrives in chaos and is a disruptor, and though he can be outboxed, he can also be a difficult outing for anyone on any given day, and seems like a fighter who rises to the occasion. And quite frankly, I hope they can all rise to the occasion, and may the best fighter win. That's all we have for today on today's episode of Talkin' Fight with respect to the Olympics coming up just around the corner, 8 days away. I thank you for joining me, and we'll see you with Christian tomorrow. Actually, maybe not with Christian, but you'll definitely see me tomorrow. All right, thanks very much for joining me.